So, Treysen, start with your decision to transfer and what you were looking for in your next stop. Style, geography, I mean, coach, what was it that ultimately influenced your decision on where?
Yeah, I think it was just like a trust for the coaching staff. I know, obviously, I'm coming from a low major school, like a lower major school. Those big major schools, it kind of gets tricky to show love to all your players, and it's kind of like it's a whole different ball game, realistically. And I just wanted a coaching staff I know I could trust and lean on at the end of the day. And one thing in my recruitment here at West Virginia, he told me you need to be with people that when times get hard, they're gonna stick with you through that. And that's something that stood out to me really well when Coach Hodge said that to me when I had lunch with him and my mom. And that just kind of always been in the back of my mind, and that's something that really helped me make my decision when it came to West Virginia here, and knowing that this coaching staff has my back no matter what happens.
It happened so quickly in terms of trying to make a decision to transfer. Is it hard? I mean, people equate it to speed dating almost, that you have to rush through that fast. Was that a difficult time for you?
I wouldn't say it's difficult because I've been dreaming about that type of position my whole life. Coming from North Dakota, there's not a lot of people that go high major in general out of North Dakota. So just being that, it's my childhood dream to be here. And those phone calls and that whole rush that happened right away, it was a lot because there's a lot of important people talking to you and calling your phone. And you feel like you have to say the right thing, but in itself, you just got to be yourself at the end of the day. And I thought it was just a really cool experience, and I'm blessed for the opportunity. But I had a lot of good mentors through my way to help me with it, my agent, my mom, and everyone else. So I think it was a pretty cool process.
Treysen, what was the putting the name in the draft and kind of going through that process? What was that like?
It was a super cool experience. Again, it's also like it's my childhood dream. I got to work out for NBA teams, and I never thought I'd do that. Again, coming from such a small state, like people don't dream that big. Like you don't think that's realistic. So I thought it was a super cool experience. And right away, I remember my first thought process. Like when I went into my first workout with the Wizards, I was like, I'm gonna get like killed today. Like this is gonna be a wake up call. This is NBA stuff. And I remember like I was sticking with it and everything in the drill. Like I was right there with everybody else. Sometimes even better than the next player. So I was really surprised. Kind of see like, oh, this is like I'm touching the league stuff right now, and it's just like a super cool experience. It's like, no, I've worked this hard and I can stick with these guys.
Who else did you work out with, and what kind of feedback did you get?
Yeah, I worked out with the Wizards and the Blazers. In my Wizards workout, I kind of like messed up my groin a little bit, and then when I went to Portland, my whole groin and hip flexor kind of just gave out on me a little bit. So I finished the workout. I couldn't do what obviously I wanted to do because I couldn't really move that well. But then after that, talked with my agent. He told me to shut it down. I had a few other workouts planned out, but there's no point. Go back to West Virginia early, so I came here 3 weeks before that June 1st, just to like get working out and stuff and get in that kind of mode because I wanted to access the facilities and everything. But the feedback was just a better on-ball defender, more physical. I don't feel like I was very physical in my old school. That's something Hodge is trying to teach me today. But other than that, they said I had a good feel for the game. That's something that you can't really teach. It's like that type of feel. Obviously, like my body, I don't pass the eye test right away, which is something that me and Martinez are getting a lot better at. And I come in every off day to lift. So, I mean, just really, again, really grateful for this experience here at West Virginia, everything they have to offer.
So I think I have this story right. You were working out with Toby Akani, too.
Yeah.
So what was that like? And what did he tell you about West Virginia because of his past experience here?
Yeah, I remember when I first got to, we worked out in Orange, West New Jersey, and that's where he's from. And we had the same agent at the time, and he picked me up first day. He was from West Virginia. I obviously wasn't even looking at West Virginia at the time. I was just already looking at my other options. And then when that kind of opened up and West Virginia came in the picture, he obviously just told me great things about the school, how they love their basketball team, and it's like the pro team. That's what kind of their pitch is. And then he told me like he didn't have anything to do with it, and he laughed because like everyone from West Virginia is like, oh, Toby Akani, get him here, and they started hitting him up. So it was a pretty cool experience. But I told him I went on my visit, and when I was on my visit, he came down too because he was still in school, and so I got to see him when I was on my visit, and then just talking it up, and that's kind of been my guy ever since. He came to practice 3 weeks ago. But yeah, it was a really cool experience, and glad that I got that like big bro mentor to help me out with this West Virginia stuff.
Treysen, you kind of mentioned earlier with growing up in North Dakota, you know, not a lot of NBA guys, and you know, So just kind of coming from that background, how does one dream about, being an NBA player and that kind of thing? I mean, not that North Dakota is some third world country or anything.
It's some people think that.
Well,
though.
yeah. But
No.
how does someone have NBA hoop dreams from North Dakota?
It's really like reality kicks in at some point, and it's like everyone dreams of being in the NBA, and obviously that's the goal for everyone. But like we don't play competition where it's like college recruiting us like, oh, like you had 50 that night, but you played against North Dakota kids. It's like I want to see you do that. You know what I'm saying? So I was blessed to play for an AAU team after I got my first Division I offer in the 3XSB circuit, and it was D.O. Minnesota. And I didn't do to what like my potential was. I just sat in the corner and shot threes. But like high school, it's like there's one day like I'm playing the number 1 ranked team in the state. I had 50-point triple-double on them, and like no colleges like reached out or like anything like that. So it just like it's the competition. I think it's the biggest part of North Dakota. But like we don't play anyone for us to get looked at. And so like when Nelson did the thing that he did over at Bama. Had his years at NDSU, then went high major. That was kind of like that's what people look for. It's like, oh, like we can go to like these local D1 schools if you're good enough, and then try to do what you can and then like get out. That's like their dreams of going bigger. So again, like I'm blessed to be in this position and like come from North Dakota. Like I couldn't name at least 5 players that touched NBA anything. So that's just really cool.
I imagine that must have been defeating in a way to have a game like that against the number 1 team and no one calls or no letters or
it's the Minnesota helps us out quite a bit. They like their prep hoops and everything. And then obviously like since other athletes in North Dakota are doing better, I think there's more attention to the state. But it's also like at my time when I'm not saying I'm old, but when I was in high school, like it wasn't anything near. There was.
Playing a role.
Hopefully, I try.
So in high school, how tall were you?
So my freshman I was about like 6'3", I want to say 6'2.5". I was pretty chubby. I played offensive line. And then like my sophomore year, I grew up to like 6'5", and I was like really scrawny, 160.
So where I'm going with that is one of the taller players in your area, and how did you become a three-point shooter?
Yeah, so growing up, I always was like just like the corner sitter, I would say. I like to explain myself as like the chubby shooter in middle school. I didn't really post up. I just sat and I tried to get out line because obviously growing up watching like Stephen Curry, he like changes the game. So like you want to like shoot threes and you want to be able to like hit like a big shot. So I've always been like a shooter. And then when I was in high school, like, my center was 6'1", and I played the point guard. Just because I was like more skilled, and my center wasn't like a big stocky guy. He just quick layups, set a screen, try to get a rebound. But yeah, I've always had like good like feel because I've never been a guy that just uses his bodies for his advantage. I didn't start using really my body until like my maybe sophomore year of college, when they asked me to post up this one guy against Omaha. That's when I really started using my body. I've always been the type of finesse guy, and then coming here, Coach Hodge just really trying to emphasize be more physical with defenders on you because it's the Big 12 and it's a very physical league. So that's something I'm really working on right now as well.
Any of your high school or AAU coaches say, "Hey, we need to get you on the blocks every once in a while"?
Yeah, no, I was always the 2-man, so I'd always have a smaller guy on me, but I was never like the physical guy to just like let me back him down. Like I'd always try to go around or shoot over him. So, yeah.
You said AAU in Minnesota.
Yeah.
And they just kind of stuck in the corner.
Like I also played with really good players. Like Cam Heidi played at Purdue. I think he's at Texas now. Then Taman Lipsey was our point guard. I think he's at Iowa State. Like we had a bunch of high recruited guys on my team. I think we were 10 deep AAU team for D1 players. It was me and my buddy from North Dakota. He was like a 4-star. He was named Gatorade Player of the Year. He was like nationally ranked like top 150, I think. And that was really rare. So like having him kind of helped me out because I just got to travel with him, and I think that's why they recruited me for the team, that AAU team, because like I could just go with him to like the practices and stuff.
Who was that?
His name's Joel Hurlbert. He went to Colorado, and now he's at Davidson.
Okay. So I guess my question is, you make a move once to better your basketball career, go to Minnesota. How much of that experience, whether you got what you wanted or you got something a little bit different, you wanted more, how much did that kind of shape how you vetted teams in the portal to make sure they're not just getting this guy who scored a bunch of points and they can keep him on their team? They can actually use you and get you to where you want to go. Yeah,
I think that AAU wouldn't help me because I'm not the main guy anymore. That was like I'm playing with like 4-stars and like 5-stars, and that's like, and I'm playing against really good competition. And that's something I always wanted to be in like my shoes. So like going to college, I kind of got ready for college right away, knowing that I'm not going to be the main scorer. Obviously, high school is just kind of me and like my little cousin. And then obviously those 3 years in North Dakota really helped me out like maturity-wise. Just like being a grown man at the end of the day and not be so immature when it comes to shot selection and body language and those type of things. Just like more of a vet. vet situation.
Did you find that teams had better ideas than others about how they wanted to use you or what they had in mind for once they actually get you on campus?
I think a lot were kind of like the same, like their pitch was. Kind of like they want someone at like the wing position to be able to score the basketball, kind of be a threat. I think one of the coaches that recruited me, I'm not gonna say a name, but he was talking about like gravity, and that was the first time I ever heard of that. He told me I had a lot of gravity on the court, because wherever I'm at, like people like kind of go towards that way. And now that I learned more of that, I think gravity is like Honor Huff has a lot of gravity. Like you need to know where he's at on the court. And that was kind of like the pitches I got from every school, and I would say there was quite a bit of those.
How have you adapted to West Virginia, both in terms of style and then just living here?
Yeah, I mean, the living here, the only thing that's like really different is the hills. The hills are crazy. I remember I was like 3rd Street or something. I think I drove up and I was like shocked of like there was a stoplight at the end of this hill. Like that was insane. It was like a roller coaster. But like the living situation, I like it kind of colder. Like I think weather right now is like perfect. I think like just the hills and the trees are the only thing that's different. The scenery is really beautiful here. I'm a big fan of that. I drove to North Carolina. I drove to Davidson to see my boy for one weekend, and I got to see the whole state. And it was pretty. It wasn't quite drive like North Dakota, like the hills. Like I got to see everything. But then just like the team aspect of everything. Just adapting, playing with better players. Our point guard is really good at what he does. And that's, I think, one of the better point guards I've ever played with in my life is Jasper Floyd. He's really good at what he does. Belo's one of the freakiest athletes I've ever seen in my life. Honor Huff is the best shooter in the country. And then we have Harlow, which is 7 foot. And his mindset to work hard, me and him are in here a lot. So just kind of pushing each other. So I'm really enjoying this team. I really love what everyone brings. And they help me every day.
I was just going to ask you, what was it like rooming with Honor, and do you guys have like shooting competitions or?
No, I mean I try to. He just like his shooting is like way different than what I was taught at like the pre-draft stuff, like what the pros do. But his just goes in.
Yeah.
So it's like it doesn't matter what you do at the end of the day, like as long as it goes in the hoop. But we did do this 5-minute shooting with Coach Forte, and Coach Forte was a really good shooter back at the Big 12 for Oklahoma State. So we did one of his drills, and apparently what he says, he had 100 on it, and it's like 5-minute shooting. Like you just get as many shots in 5 minutes, keep walking around. My highest is 87, and yesterday he got 91. So yeah, he did beat me. He does have the edge right now, but I mean, I'm in here every day after practice, so hopefully I get that one day.
And then the Alabama game last year, what kind of experience was that for you, and did that maybe open your eyes up any after that game?
Yeah, that game for sure changed my life. As a blessing in disguise. My first thought process when I went to the game is like we weren't a winning team at that point. Like we were not like doing very well. We went to Cancun, we lost to a team that was 0-13, and it was just not a good look. So we played that game, and I'm thinking like, okay, like everyone in the state's texting me like, Trey, you better go off, blah blah. Like everyone's watching you, and I'm just thinking like I ignore all outside noise, and then I'm in the game. I'm like sitting there looking at everyone walk in, and it's packed. It's like the NDSU game, like the rivalry game, and like people are standing, and I'm like, okay, like we just can't get blown out. Like I don't want this to be like a 40 ball. People are just like, oh, like a dunk show. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I at least want to be competitive. Like I know like the outcome, like they have what they have and we have what we have. And that's when reality kicks in. Is like we just need to play our hardest and like just know like you can't sag off for nothing. And then I think at halftime, I think we were down by 1, maybe we were up. I'm not really sure. But it was a close game, and we're like, I've had a close game with Iowa State my freshman year. We were tied at half, and then they came and just killed us. And I'm in the halftime, like that's like the maturity part. I'm in there like, hey, like you guys have to lock in. Like that first half means nothing now. Like you like kind of be a leader. In the second half, I think comes out. I think I banged like 2 in a row back to back, and then.
I was going to say shots started to.
Yeah, a bunch of my uncles from like the reservations talk about how like it's like throwing rocks in the river, like it just goes in at some points like a flow. So that's kind of what happened, and then we look back at the film, and my coach like first thing next day didn't give me a compliment because obviously we were a winning team. So he's over there, he's like, Trey, like you could have won if you just like boxed out, or like you could have done this at the end. And it's like that's so true. Like that's what it takes to be a winner, and that kind of opened my eyes to like what the whole point of being a basketball player is to win games, and that kind of like showed me like, okay, like it's really hard to win games, and you have to do it every night to really perform.
That, right?
No, I knew my coach doesn't really go, he didn't go for all the scoring stuff. He just went for the winning, and we didn't like. Again, that was like because the year before we were pretty good, and then had a losing season last year, so it wasn't. Yeah, he was on me about that quite a bit.
You mentioned gravity a little while ago. A couple weeks ago, Russ said that you and Honor both have gravitational pull on the court, but it also sounds like you really value shot selection. But as we just talked about, you can go off for 40 and 50 points. How do you balance that shot selection? Where does that mentality come from?
Yeah, that's something I've been trying to work on here as well. Obviously in North Dakota, like that was kind of my role, is like just go get one or like make a play. And with better players here, that's just like that's not like my certain role right now. It's just to obviously get a good shot and score the ball, make a play, but not the ball in my hand every time, taking 10, 5 dribbles. It's kind of like adjusting to that pro game to get me ready for the next level, obviously. So I think like with that, I think with me and Honor, both on the court at the same time, I think that's just like I didn't see him say that, but I think that's just like a really like a weapon that's like hard to find. 2 shooters that like if you leave them any type of space, like something's gonna happen, and you can't really go like boxing 2 on us because like we have again Bilo and Jasper, then Harlow to like box. So I think it's a pretty dangerous weapon. But other than that, I think it's really cool to be playing with players like that know like the game and know how to get everyone involved.
With everybody coming from so many different areas, is there a little bit of wanting to hold back because you don't want to get a early, I don't want to say reputation, but hey man, this dude's shooting too much, or this dude's dominating the ball, or whatever? Yeah,
that was kind of like what I was like right away. I had trouble with that, and I kind of struggle with it a little bit now, is like when to go and when not to go. Obviously, because coming from a school where you just give him the ball and go to Trey, like you gotta that's a good shot, but like we can get a better one because you're playing better players. That's a big adjustment for me, and that's something I'm working on every day. I feel like for this last summer I've been a lot of passive because I have better players that I'm a little bit contested and he's more open than me. Give it to him instead of shoot a little bit contested. That's you just gotta find the happy medium of what type of player you are and who you're playing with. And that's like we practice every day. And coach does a good job of telling me what I should shoot and what I shouldn't shoot. So again, that's the coaching staff and having trust for them and the commitment I have to this program.
What's a better feeling maybe when you're in a rhythm like you were against Alabama, where you know the defense's eyes are all on you and you're still hitting, or the opposite of that, where you know like you're in an Honor Huff situation where you've got multiple guys who can score and you see the defense has to choose and might make that mistake? Yeah,
I mean, that's why I said like the weapon, like we'll say one night I started hot and like they start like looking at me and Honor's open, like Honor, even if Honor doesn't hit, like the thing with him, he's still gonna like, if he hasn't hit a shot in like a few days, like a few like minutes, like he's still hot, like he never goes cold. So like that's kind of like the crazy part with him is like no matter what happens, like he's a true shooter, he'll never go cold. So like you can't leave him even at all if someone else is scoring. So that's but the better feeling part, what you asked about, when the defense is all on you, it's like it's kind of a lot of pressure, especially in like a bigger program that you need to win. I would say that's pretty scary feeling, but like for me at the end of the day, like I think it's fine. Like that's the type of stuff I love. But I mean, having the ball, like another dangerous weapon on the court while you have that is just like that's something like that's a really good feeling, knowing you can win the game easy.
In North Dakota, obviously football is the bigger sport. Obviously the Bison and State, they always compete for the championships. How did you not? Were you ever in football or?
Yeah, hockey was a big one too because UND's hockey team's really good. A lot of kids grew up. I wanted to play hockey growing up. Mom couldn't afford it. Thank goodness she couldn't, because then I would be a hockey player. But like my first love, like was as weird as it was baseball was mine type of thing. I had home run when I was like 9. I thought I was going to the league, like MLB. But yeah, football. I did play football until my sophomore year. I played offensive line every year I played football. And I played defensive line. I never was like an outside. Then sophomore year I played wide receiver a little bit. Which is like a total switch, but I always had like the feel like I could catch. Obviously, I wasn't stiff, but yeah. And then like my sophomore year, I quit. I didn't quit, but I just like I was JV and they wanted me to go to a Friday night game, and there was like a basketball tournament in the fall, and I was like, I'm going to the basketball tournament. Like I'm not gonna make the game, coach. And he was like, all right, like, and I just we parted ways, and we agreed. And then he was my gym teacher the next year, and he talked a lot of smack about me, but Coach Gibson, yeah, that was my guy.
Basketball thing worked out.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you.